the people present here, people online. I believe Zamar Khan from CLDP is also present. And believe me, he can surprise you with his good Pashto. As he mentioned, he's from Swat. So I'll get straight to it. The last time the number of the strength of judges was increased was, I think, way back in the year 2000. Since then, the population has exploded. The number of judges remains the same. Last time, the surge towards mediation was faced with resistance, primarily from the bar, because at that point in time it was a relatively new concept and appeared as a threat rather than as an opportunity. But since then, a lot of water has flown under the bridge, and at this point in time, there is a realization that the judicial system can't sustain such sort of pressure anymore. And therefore, the legal fraternity, the bar, has come to realize that this new avenue that has opened up, ADR, more particularly mediation, presents an opportunity. And so there is no more resistance. You don't have, at this point in time, you don't have to sell mediation to the judiciary. We are all for it. What is lacking is the culture towards mediation. I'm keen to refer a case to mediation. I'll be happy dealing with criminal appeals if you want me to. But when I pose that as a question, I draw a blank from the litigant, because the general litigant, the general public, is not aware of what mediation entails. He's not aware of it because his lawyer hasn't informed him that that may be an alternative. So first and foremost, before we start off with putting emphasis on the bench to promote mediation, I think emphasis should be on the general public and on the bar. It is when a litigant comes to court, he puts his trust in his lawyer. So he's going to go by what the lawyer tells him is the right way forward. And so if I were to ask the lawyer on day one कि जी आप मीडिएशन में जाएं, वो बोलेगा जज साहब मैं स्टे मांगने आपसे आज आया था, अभी कल फीस मिली है, आप कह रहे हैं आप मीडिएशन में चले जाएं और पैसे भी मजीद दें. और so that's not going to happen, let's face it. So there has to be a cooling off period. When a new case comes into the system, there has to be a cooling off period before you can actually sell mediation to the litigant or to the lawyer. And there's no harm in that. If you're fine with that, as long as that cooling off period doesn't stretch for too long. So once you present mediation, say after the pleadings have been exchanged, the interim applications have been addressed, then parties are more open, more amenable to a reference to mediation. The experience thus far at the other aspect of the matter is that it is the bar associations who have to come forward as well. Simply paying lip service, simply saying that we have a certification and not actually trying to sell mediation to their client is not working. It started off initially when we started off the mediation center in the High Court. It's a court annex mediation center that we've opened up in the High Court. We are working for one also in the district courts. But the initial response was very slow. So we realized that instead of going after lawyers, we'll have to resort to our own devices. So we opted for a different model of mediation, which is the court annex mediation through judicial offices. So we appointed an additional district judge full-time, a civil judge full-time at the High Court in a mediation center. And most of the cases that are referred to that mediation center are by the district judiciary. And, and thus far it's working fine. The inflow of referrals has dwindled as of lately for different reasons. We're trying to explore that. But having said that, we don't really require the mediation centers to be handling to complex cases. The bulk of the litigation is ordinary disputes. The bulk of the litigation is not complicated litigation. It's your day-to-day litigation. So if the mediation centers or the mediators can attend to those day-to-day issues, then I think we'll be fine. And this model can then go on and maybe one day, like Justice Mia Gul pointed out, maybe the government can also wake up to the realization that mediation may be their cup of tea as well. Let's face it, at this point in time, majority of the litigation in courts is against the government, the state. And the government is not going to be voluntarily coming forth with mediation, as for reasons pointed out by Justice Mia Gul as well. But having said that, and as pointed out by the speakers before me, there has to be a culture of mediation. Right now, we are still living in the culture of litigation, unless the elder of the village has 10 cases in the courts that he has to attend to in a day, the villagers don't recognize him as somebody. So he has to, it's a lifestyle getting involved in litigation. So that culture has to change, that realization has to change. The courts cannot sustain that model anymore. What my suggestion to the IBA and its newly founded center would be to try to develop this culture amongst lawyers and the general public, and that will get you the desired results. Thank you very much.